Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom and today we are at Groove Garden Studios. We have 3 drum kits to get through this morning, and because I own this studio, we've also got some general maintenance stuff to look at as well. So let's jump straight into it. Gonna grab the cleaning products that I need just to start checking up on the drum kits and checking the rooms to see if there's anything that needs to be sort of fixed and cleaned. We're a sort of self-service, drum-centric studio in Hove. So we have these little rooms that you'll see right now. These are what we call our drum pods. So they're quite small, and they're just big enough to fit sort of a drummer or a bass player as well, and maybe a teacher. And we sort of like have decked them out with everything that we think drummers would want, really, just for like rehearsal stuff or recording content. That's a little ring light with like a phone mount holder on the wall. So if you want to record sort of content, you can come here or record your drum grades. So a lot of people do their grades online now, and you just record them and send them off. Music stand as well. We got little fans on the wall. But yeah, this is a little Pearl Export, red one, with the gold badge. Wicked little kits. They sound great. And I actually found this one on the road. It was actually on the street. Someone was just throwing it out, and I fixed it all up. It was really bad condition when I got it. It's still a little bit rough now, but it's 100 times better than what it was. As you can see, we're using sort of Evans heads. That's a Natal snare drum head that Evans have made for them. They use Evans heads, but we haven't got a deal yet with any drum head manufacturers. So we're sort of using these heads that we've been gifted, and some that we've had left over, or ones we've found really cheap. So they're all a bit mismatched. On this kit, we do have 2 Natal by Evans and then an Evans G2 on the floor. And all the kits actually have Evans EMADs as well, except from the live room, actually, sorry, that has the aquarium super kick. So we're going to start by just taking off this snare drum head. You can see it's pretty battered. The coating's completely come off in the middle. So we're going to grab the little drill and get to work. I think here I start to realize my little hand screwdriver, electric screwdriver thing is running out of charge, which is not ideal, but I've got another impact driver that I can use at this studio. Another sad thing this week, actually, I lost my Tama key. So the Tama key that I was raving so much about, I completely lost it. I don't know what happened to it. I think I left it in a room, and then it must have got picked up and put somewhere. Gonna put that electric screwdriver on charge before I forget, and then grab the other drill and carry on taking that head off. So up here is our little storage area that we keep all of our sort of spare parts, but we also have a lot of drums, and our hires stuff is all kept up here as well. We do have a little workstation up in this sort of loft area, which you'll see later in the video because I need to grab some heads from it. But as you can see, actually we're going there right now. You see it's a little bit awkward to get to because we have to crawl under these. We've got these big metal beams sort of cordoning off the area, so it's a little bit awkward to get to, but trying to use the space because we've got it. This covers the whole sort of floor plan up here, so it's nice to have. As you can see, our heads, we sort of have a selection of used, barely used, and then new ones up at the top here as well. Just trying to find a 14 for that snare drum in pod 1. We got a lot of these code heads. So these were given to us by our old drum teacher, actually, Pat Garvey, which is really nice and really kind of him. It really helps us out as we're a new studio, so we're just starting out and just trying to get established. And I think this is their sort of ambassador type version. It's not going to be the most durable for this pod, but it's completely new, so it will last a week. This is what I used to use before I got the little electric screwdriver thing. It is a lot faster, to be fair, but it can damage the drums if you're not careful with something like that, because it's got a lot more torque. Gonna clean up the hoop, make sure nothing's gonna be in contact with the new head and the bearing edge. I'm gonna clean up the shell of the drum as well. The snare drum in here is a Pearl as well, I believe. I think it's like an ELX or something like that. It sounds pretty cool. Gonna get all of these started with my fingers to make sure we're not cross-threading anything. And then just carefully take them just above where they're touching the metal hoop. So this is a little bit more relaxed than when I'm at Brighton Electric Studios in Brighton, because there's only 3 rooms, so there's not much to get through in a morning, but it comes with a lot more general maintenance when I'm doing these rooms, because obviously there's no one doing the hoovering, no one doing the cleaning as well. Just gonna push on that hoop, finish off my finger tightening. Gonna seat that head as it is a brand new head, and then we can just start taking the drum up. Gonna give it about all the tension rods about a couple of turns each to take it up to a place where I can then start fine tuning. So now I'm just going to go grab some drumsticks, and we're going to see how the kit sounds with a new head, and see how the whole kit sounds. Sounded alright. Give this one a 7.5 out of 10, I reckon. Been a little bit detuned. Just going to take this little bit of sort of moon gel, knockoff moon gel stuff, just to take that overtone out. You could hear it had quite a high pitched ring, and that's because this is quite a thin head. It's going to give you a few more overtones, which can be really nice, you know, especially if the overtone is holding quite a nice note. But most of the time in these rooms, we're just looking to get quite a dry snare drum sound. Again, it's sort of semi-high. It's quite high, to be fair, how we tune it. Medium to high tuning. Gonna mess with the snare strainer. And the nice thing about when I do these drum kits is our kits come with cymbals, and they also come with pedals. So the kits are ready to go, so I can actually play the whole kit. which is really nice. Adds some more enjoyment to the job when you can play on the drums. Floor tom's sounding a little bit flabby, so I'm just going to try and take it up. I think I take it a little bit too far. Sometimes these floor toms sound really nice just between that sort of flabby looseness, just to when all of the wrinkles are out. But it's quite a fine line, because you can go too high with it and it will start sounding a bit naff, in my opinion. Yeah, the kit's sounding great, to be fair. It's sounding wicked. I love these old Pearl exports. They're such a solid kit, and you can pick them up like dirt cheap. I mean, this one was free, right? Someone was just throwing it away. But they do sound wicked, especially the gold badge ones, which are the 90s ones, I believe. Oh, I fell over. I do that a lot, actually, at this studio. Let's trip up these stairs. So, like I said, to finish off the rooms, because we don't have anyone else here in the mornings, me and James do everything. We do the cleaning, we do all the drum maintenance, and all of the other maintenance stuff that needs to be done at the studio. It's just us two. So as I go along, I generally do the hoovering as well. Hoover the front mat, the hallway, the stairs if they need it, and then the room, because you get a lot of wood chips on the floor, especially as we're sort of that specific drum pod room, right? It's just drummers in there, and the wood chips from the drumsticks go everywhere, so it needs hoovering at least once a day or once every 2 days. That's my cheese plant, my pride and joy. My grandma gave me that plant. It's doing actually okay. I thought, because we don't have any windows downstairs at the studio, I thought it was going to die pretty quick, but it's lasted a really long time, and it's got new growth on it now. So I leave the door open in the mornings generally, especially if the sun's out, to give some of the plants in the hallway some light, and it seems to be working. Touch wood. So just going to put the drum key back on the wall, and then that pod is done for the day. We're going to move on to the live room next, which is our biggest room downstairs. So our studio has 6 rooms, but the 3 upstairs are all monthly let rooms. Down here are the ones open to the public that you can book hourly. And this is our live room. I'm just going to check over the kit. This is a cool little Odery kit, which was the company before Sakai. So Sakai is a bit more well known, but Odery, was owned by those guys before Sakai, and it's a cool little kit as well. We got this one super cheap as well. We're looking to upgrade all of our drum kits here, but once we built the actual studio, we got to the end, and it's sort of like we're just trying to fill it with stuff that we have, but good stuff, right? And with good heads on, and they all sound wicked as well because they get looked after. But this has got like a black to gold sparkle. The finish is actually pretty wicked on this thing. But again, you can pick these up really cheap because no one's really looking for them. The name Odery doesn't really come with the same weight as the Yamahas and Gretchen Ludwigs of the world. This snare drum, you can see it on the hallway there, just on the left. I'm going to show you it now, I think. The lug last night when James was in his rehearsal blew off. So we're going to have to change that snare out. I don't think I have another lug to replace that with. I'll have a look for one, but I'm not 100% sure. So this is like a little bucket that we keep a lot of spares in. So I'm just going to have a look for a lug now before I change the snare out, if I have to. Back over to the little drum area. I've realised that we need to replace the snare, so I'm just going to grab one of our spares that are up here. And this thing's really funny actually, because this hasn't been touched in years, and it is a Percussion Plus snare drum, which does not fill you with confidence when you're thinking of really nice sounding snare drums. But we're going to see if we can get this thing sounding pretty good. It's going to need a whole sort of snare head replacement. I'm going to do the top, and I'm going to do the reso. That thing looks like, I didn't notice actually at the time, but it looks like it might have a split in it. I don't know what that is. Did you see that little line across the top? Or it's got like a little dent, but we're going to use it. They're pretty dead, these HD Evans sort of Natal ones, which works really well for a snare drum that you're going to assume is going to have quite a lot of overtones and quite a lot of mad stuff happening. If we can just control that with the head without the need for major dampening, that is great. So taking off heads with this impact driver is so much nicer than using the electric screwdriver, but again, a little bit more dangerous because you run the risk of stripping stuff and causing damage to the drum. Clean up the hoop. Clean up the hoop. It's a cool looking snare though, this Percussion Plus. It's got like this fake sort of wood block wrap on it, but it looks quite good. It looks quite smart. You can see there, so that's actually a wrap, but it looks like obviously like a wood block, like a chopping board style. I'll have to come up with a name for this snare. Maybe we call it Gordon Ramsay because it looks like a chopping board. Okay, Gordon. Yeah, that's it. That's its name. Gonna seat that head. Not seeing that little dent now that I think I saw on the camera, so it'll probably be fine once it's got some tension. There you go, start the finger tightening process, getting this snare drum tuned up and sounding nice. The live room snare gets changed quite a lot, because the same as when I was doing Brighton electric drum kits, you get a lot of drummers bring their own snare drums. The pods a little bit less so, because our whole idea was you can rock up with nothing and be able to play straight away. So a lot of people do utilize that fact. But in the live room, you get a lot more people swapping the snare out, so it's not as crucial to supply one. But then saying that, we do get a lot of people who do just turn up and they like the fact that they can come into this live room, don't have to bring cymbals, don't have to bring a snare if you're not too fussed on the quality, right? Because the cymbals we provide in all of these pods and live rooms aren't great. They're okay. They're just the budget line cymbals. And they do a job for people who may not own cymbals or don't want to bring their cymbals. But yeah, if you want nice sounding cymbals, you definitely got to bring your own. Because again, same as the kits, the cymbals get abused 8 hours a day. So I've just noticed on this snare drum that it's missing a tension rod. So I'm going to now go on the hunt to find a tension rod, which is, if you don't know, just one of the rods that goes into the lug that I tighten and I use my fingers to tighten up. That is used to push pressure on the hoop, which then puts pressure on the head, which then gives you tension across the drum head. Because we're a new studio, we don't have like all of the parts that I had at my disposal at Brighton Electric. We're slowly gathering stuff because things break and you keep like the leftovers and things, but we're not sort of inundated with tension rods and lugs and things like this. So I think I end up having to steal a tension rod from another drum. I can't quite remember. So the snare that's broken, I'm going to try and take one of the tension rods from that, as that's not going to get fixed for a little while, probably a week. But I quickly find out this one's not long enough, and I don't think it was the right size as well. I think this one's a thicker one. I think this might be an M5. But I think I need an M4. So back to the drawing board with that one. So at this point, I've just carried on with the top head, keeping in mind that I need to get a tension rod. I think I'm going to have to go back to like the back of the loft again. So before I go there, I just want to tune this up, see how it's sounding. See if it's completely crucial that I need to get this rod in. And I think I quickly find out that it is. You really hear how dead that head is. There's not a lot going on. It's a bit like the hydraulics, to be fair. Those coloured ones with the oil in, they're super dead. I don't know how thick these heads are, but they looks like they've got a bit of a control ring as well. You can see around the edge, but they are super dead heads. This kit's sounding great, to be fair. The whole kit's sounding pretty wicked. The snare drum I'm still not super happy with. You can see I sort of tinker with it, because in my head I'm thinking, is it? What's going on? It doesn't sound as good as I think it could sound, so that's why we take it a little bit step further. And we start giving the bottom head a little bit more attention and really sorting it out. But the rest of the kit sounds wicked. In here we got Remos. So Remo sort of pinstripe heads, and then we've got a Remo dot on the floor tom, and then the 18 floor next to the 14 floor is an Evans G2 coated, or UV2 coated actually. I think it might be a UV2. Again, we were gifted most of these heads as well on this kit. So we're really fortunate. The drums themselves, actually, so the Odery kit when we bought it had the Aquarian super kick on it, which I've never used before. Actually, we had this kit until we bought this kit, but the thing is wicked, man, and it lasts like such a long time. I don't know if there's something to do with that. It's got like a Phalam patch from Remo on it, I believe, and that thing's super thick as well. But the durability is, yeah, wicked. Drums are sounding great. Just gonna look at these legs, see if anything's moving around. It's not moving, that's perfect. Hardware's all good. A lot of our hardware's new because we didn't have any when we opened. Drum stalling here as well is brand new, so it's pretty solid. So we're going to go up now and try and sort this snare drum out, the Percussion Plus one that I put in that room. Going to get a reso. I'll try and find a reso. I'm just looking now because a snare drum reso head has to be really, really thin, basically, to give you the sensitivity you would want from the snare wires. I do find one up here which isn't the thinnest snare side head, because I think it's the Emperor snare side. So it's not the thinnest head in the world, but it does the job, as we'll soon find out. There it is. If you hear it there, it's like sort of has that papery note to it when you hit it. This is me on the search for that tension rod again. So it would save so much time if I had like all the stock and all the parts to fix these drums. But it's going to be a slow accumulation of this stuff and just buying stuff as I go. So we're going to take the tension rod from this snare drum, which is this little yellow D drum, which I hate. Oh no, we're going to take it from the floor tom. Oh, because so the snare drum, actually I looked at the lugs on that D drum, the yellow one, and it looked the same length as the one I just tried. So we're going to take the floor tom one because the lug's a little bit further away from the hoop, so it should be a longer tension rod. That will work perfectly. So now we've got to get to work taking off the bottom head because we're going to replace that. But to take the bottom head off, we also have to take off the snare wires and reset that. So I'm just going to loosen off both sides of the snare wires so I can take them out. And then we can carry on taking off the rest of the drum head. You can see how thin this head is, the Percussion Plus one. See how thin that is compared to the one I'm about to put on? I mean, that one is like paper, whereas this one's got a little bit more thickness to it. So always try and remember to put those little gaps on the drum hoop back to where they came from, because that's where the snare straps go through to reattach the snare wires once I've tuned up the snare drum. Going to use the impact driver again to get the tension rods just above that hoop to save my fingers from finger tightening all the way down. And then finish that off with my fingers and the pressure I'm going to put on the hoop above the tension rod. This is the same week that our PA blew actually at this studio, so there's some stuff that we aren't experts in. Me and James are both drummers, so any time it comes to electronics, mixing desk, PA, we have to outsource that to good friends of ours. This time we actually sent the PA to Brighton Electric Studios, which is where I do the drum taking on Fridays, and they sorted us out because they loaned us one, and they're going to fix it for us hopefully in the same week. So those guys, massive help this week, because we don't have a backup PA, we just have the one. We are looking to get another one, but again, being a new studio, it's just money, cash flow. But the one they lent us is I think it was a Martin, I can't remember what it was called now, but the thing is amazing. It sounds incredible. It's so much better than our one, and ours is pretty good, to be fair, but this thing is like, I think it's like that £1,300 per speaker, right? And you have two, so you're talking $2,500 grand for this PA. It's just the speakers, and yeah, it sounds wicked. So here I make a mistake actually. I wonder if you can spot it already if you've been watching. Let me know if you do spot it. I always do. So when I replace snare wires, it's one of those really annoying things as well, because there's so many things to tighten and loosen up and get wrong with it. And if you're sort of trying to work quickly, or you're focusing on something else or thinking about other things, it's really easy to do one thing wrong and then you have to go back and repeat yourself, which is really annoying. But yeah, we'll see the mistake in a minute. So that's quite a nice, I take the snare side head up quite high, as you can hear. You want it to sound a bit like a timbale, like bing, 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 that sort of noise. Because that's where you get the sensitivity from, and you won't get any weird overtones, especially if you're just going for that like typical snare drum style crack, sort of medium high tuning. It's gonna sound pretty good with the reso head tuned pretty high on the snare drum. So here is where I've realised my mistake, because I hit the top of the drum and the snares weren't engaged, although they were engaged on the throw off. So here I've realised that I've actually installed the snare wires upside down, which is very annoying. They have to be set, and I had them upside down. So the snare wires were effectively sort of lifted off the bottom head. So when you hit the top head, it wasn't engaging any snare wires, and it sounded like a tom. But we're just going to go reset these snare wires now, tighten them back up. When I do the snare wires as well, so I do the opposite side to the throw off first, because as the throw up is pulled, so you can take that side a little bit further to the hoop, because obviously as the snare's engaged with the throw off, it pulls it slightly across to that side of the drum. So I always off center it slightly, so when it pulls, it's more central. Also, when you install your snare wires, do it with the throw off, and pull them as tight as you can, because you're never going to get them as tight as you can with like when the throw off's engaged. So if you do it with the snare wires off and pull them quite tight in, when the snare's engaged, it's going to tighten up really nicely for you and be at a decent tension, right? So I've just had to tighten mine back up because I messed around with it when I realised, well, I didn't know what was happening, but before I realised my mistake, I was over tightening the strainer. So that needed to be loosened off a little bit. But yeah, that's a full head replacement on that snare drum. And now we're going to see how it sounds. I'm just going to grab some sticks. Chucking those into my free drum head little thing. We sort of tell all the drummers in the building to chuck their old drum heads in that, and I sort of do a dump run and occasionally, or some people might want to try out a head, right? So that thing I picked up there was like an EC2. That was pretty clean, that one. It was 15-inch. But the reso of that snare head, obviously the one we just replaced, is destined for the dump. But there you go. It sounds so much nicer than what it did with the old reso. For a percussion plus snare, this thing sounds wicked. Like, you got to remember, this is a sort of second-hand, a £20 snare drum, you know. You're not going to be getting much more for a percussion plus snare when you're selling that thing. But it sounds wicked, and for the studio, it's going to be cool for people who don't have a snare drum and want to use ours. Finishing off the live room, just going to give it a hoover, just like the rest of the rooms. When I hoover, you can sort of inspect the floor. So we've done carpet in our studio, which is a little bit irregular, and we're only just starting to find out why now. It's because obviously carpet stains, and we have people drinking drinks in here. It's be that coffee or beers, and things get spilled, and people with dirty shoes. It gets a lot of traffic. So these are carpet tiles, so they clean really well, but they are quite hard to keep looking fresh. So I think the plan is to get some more rugs because they'll be easier to clean, but also maybe get a few more carpet towels and replace the ones that are getting worn the most. So around near the mixing desk, you can see there's like a dark spot. Around near where the amps are sat, there's a dark spot. In the entryway, there's sort of those dark spots. So we're just gonna learn as we go, you know, and improve things as we go. I think some rugs would look really cool. When you sort of do the hoovering, it's a nice place to start as well, because you realise all the other stuff in the room that needs a little bit of a clean as well. So we're going to go around now and clean the amps and the little electric piano or keyboard thing we have. Move some of this stuff around so it's not all cluttered in the corner. Not an ideal angle, again. It's funny because I watch this back and just do the voiceover just usually in like 1 or 2 sort of takes, and it's my first time seeing the video as well. I really wanted our studio to smell nice, so around here we got a lot of reed diffusers and stuff. I was sort of big on the idea that it didn't have to smell like beer and sweat. it could actually smell nice, you know. So yeah, hopefully that comes across whenever you come into the studio. So now we're going to head on into pod 2, which is the last of the sort of hourly hire rooms that we have here at Groove Garden. A little bit bigger than the other pod, but again, big enough for a drummer, maybe a bass player if they want to come along. This one actually does have a bass amp because we were asked a few times if we could put one in, and eventually we were like, it's big enough, you could just keep one in here, and if you do want to bring a guitarist or a bass player with you want to play along, we can do that as well. But it's nicer for teachers in this room as well. It gives you a little bit more room to work with. Just adjusting this cymbal. So Our sort of pods and drum kits come with 5 cymbals, including the hi-hat, in case you want to use that many. But a lot of the time, people don't really want to use that fifth cymbal or third crash. Just gonna go around and clean this kit. This is a little Sonar, I believe. It's a Sonar Force. So again, not the most expensive drum kit in the world. This is one of my drum kits actually. So this is one of my kits that I've like sort of gifted to the studio. And as you can see, again, we're using up these Natal by Evans drum heads. And this one's got a full set of Evans hydraulics. I don't know how that happened. It was sort of quite hard to tune this drum kit. So having the hydraulics just takes all of that sort of guesswork out of the way. They're just super dead, no overtones, sound just pretty standard straight out the box. People don't like them really because they sound a little bit boxy. Some people love them because of that fact of like they just give you the boof, just dead, super punchy sound. And in here I think they sound pretty cool, to be fair. They work quite well in a small room like this as well. Like we've tried to like put a lot of sound sort of baffles on the wall and control how boomy the room is. But in like having heads that work in small rooms like this is brilliant. I can imagine in like churches as well, rooms that are super boomy and loud, or like cafes where there's no sort of sound dampening anywhere. These heads sound wicked. So we're just going to hear how it sounds. Sounds okay. 7 out of 10. Live room, by the way, I would give a solid 8.5 when we listen to that. High tom's really high. I find this high tom opens up a little bit more when you take it down. If you tune it too high, it starts to sound really like choked. I'm just going to take that down. Already here it starts to sound pretty nice. Snare drum sounds pretty good in here. The head you can see is pretty fresh. This probably got changed the week before. Just going to tune it up a little bit because again, mainly the drums get detuned if they don't get touched. Mid tom sounding pretty dead. It's because it's touching the hoop, you can see. So I'm going to raise that up so it's not resting on the bass drum. That really takes a lot of the sustain out of a tom if it's resting on your bass drum. And then I have to get toms level. I can't be dealing with unlevel toms, so raise the high tom up just a tad as well to meet the mid tom at its new height. The mid tom in here, I struggled a little bit to get it sounding really, really nice. But it sounds better now. And floor tom, yeah, super dead again. And it's a blue one. We got the multicolored thing going on just because we only had a blue one. 2 red and a blue. Again, these are all free. These were all gifted from some really kind friends. Sounds wicked. Like the kick drum's a little bit tight. I think it's been tuned up slightly. More of a feeling than a sound when I play on it. Yeah, it sounds great. You find the longer I play on a kit, the more I'm enjoying it, right? Which is a good thing, because when you work on these kits and you tune them and you make sure everything's okay, if you're sat there and you can't get away from it, that's a nice thing, right? Because it means it's sounding good and it's a nice kit to play and be around. So that's pretty much it now. Finished with pod 2. this is where my GoPro dies. So thanks so much again for watching, guys, and hopefully catch you in the next one.